Have you found yourself in situations where things, attitudes, and behaviors are unfamiliar, outside the norm, and unpredictable? What about the moment you board the public transport and behold, the woman seated next to you begins to peel egg and eat? What about the sound of chewing gum? What about that person that you're supposed to share the microphone on during rehearsals having bad breath? What about that person that just pulls off the shoe and behold, a very unpleasant smell? Like, how did you deal with that situation? How did you feel? Good morning and welcome to today's live on Equa Television International. My name is Joyce Jakada, and today on the program I have Sambo Solomon Sabe, the only man that is blessed amongst women.
Yes.
I have Prudence Bruga as well.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And to our viewers out there, remember you can be part of this discussion by going to our official Facebook page at Equa Television International so that we'll know your comment. Let's get your opinion. How do you feel when you're uncomfortable? Like, what gets you uncomfortable? And what is your reaction? How do you feel at that moment? Uncomfortable. Sambo Solomon. Like, are you comfortable having two ladies, beautiful ladies?
I'm about to say it. I say,
are you comfortable?
Right now, I'm very, very uncomfortable. You know, sitting, you know, with... but let me just...
And you're happy. You're not comfortable and you're happy.
You know, Joyce, honestly, that question is a $1 million question because it comes with answering such questions comes with deliberate act for you to be sincere because in most cases people are not being sincere when you ask them. Do you know why? Simply because they check the situation and they just feel, well, maybe if I said I'm not comfortable, simply maybe because of Bruga, she may feel bad. And then their pretense set in. I'll be like, well, no, fine. Well, to be honest, I'm not comfortable. So it comes with sincerity to answer that. And, you know, I have so many things that I'm not comfortable with, you know, when it comes to life generally. And then these things are meant to be there. But the way you react or you respond to them, that's what defines you. Chew gum, you know, with those kind of unpleasant sounds. That's the way it pissed me off. Like
you have second experience.
Yes. And people that knows me, and then particularly ladies, and they chew gum. Like now that I'm talking and they are watching, they will say, Hatani, it's right. You know, I find it very, very uncomfortable, and so I don't know how to describe the feeling, but there's the way it pissed me off. I will just find myself not within that environment until something is being done. Maybe I will just say, excuse me, can you just, I think this gum is okay. So that at least I will just feel, so that's just one out of plenty.
I personally think that the issue of uncomfortability actually depends on the person. You being uncomfortable it's what makes me uncomfortable probably not make for instance bad breath, or like seriously I pretty much heard nothing in church that day because I was too conscious. Anytime he opened his mouth to breathe or anything, I just felt, when will this service be over? Let's just go home. And I really didn't take anything home that day because I was very uncomfortable. And also, as Mr. Sule said, the issue of being uncomfortable is delicate because you can't actually, for instance, this bad breath, you don't even know how to approach this person and politely tell the person, you have a bad breath, you should do something about it, or you don't even know whether the person is actually going to be offended if you do that. So you have to bear it sometimes. You just have to bear it.
You know, as the name implies, like things that make you uncomfortable. Like these things have implications. They affect people. Like as we wake up every day, we try to live our life. We meet with people, we mingle. Like you can't exist on your own in today's life. Like you have your family, you have your workplace, you have the school, you have the church. Like you go out, you meet with people from different places. And when I start talking about things that make you uncomfortable, like it's just a situation where things, attitude, behaviors are unfamiliar, they are outside the norm, and they are unpredictable. Like you just found yourself, and then you're like, oh, so this man just came to church without brushing his teeth. And then look at the implication. You didn't even know what was happening in church till the end. And not just you, Prudence, a lot of people have found themselves in situations like that with different behaviors, and then they have to deal with it till as long as it takes them. So, and that's why we're talking about this thing, because at the end of the day, we're going to look at how we can deal with those issues, so that we don't have to suffer it. You don't have to remain in church for the 2 hours without even hearing anything. How can you handle some of these situations? When situations are uncomfortable, it can be towards the negative and it can be towards the positive. And I trust my team, before the end of the show, we're going to talk about the positive aspect too and address it. So like I started, I talk about the fact that you can just board the public transport, and then people start eating like the whole of their life they were not eating before. You see egg, you buy. You see buns, you buy. You see granite, fried granite, you buy. Like people and then there are people that they find it difficult to even travel. Like it's uncomfortable for you to even travel. And then imagine that you have to travel because it's so important. And then like imagine, even as young people, like I'm the girl now, there's this guy in the office and you're eyeing the guy, and then some people will say there's nothing wrong in you just asking the guy out, and then behold, you send text messages, just, uncle, good morning, how was your day? You just start being a nice girl, greeting, and then during break you go, you said come we take away. Ah, okay. No, I will not use you as an example, you're married. And then you just look for the young guy, you just go for break, come with some packages. Ah, hope you had a nice day. I don't want to use Tony before he said it becomes big. Like, you now just come with your package and then just say, take this, you give the person. Yes, I'm talking about Tony Ghana. So, but I don't want to use Tony Ghana as an example right now before somebody will start being happy. Oh, no, it's just an example. So, you just bring the package, and yet, uncle is not saying anything. And then, you keep every night, Prudence is singing, praying, wishing, with all the text messages, the packages. Let this guy, is he not seeing? Songs of Solomon say I should place myself in the position for him to see me. I've shown all the green lights, and he's not seeing anything.
See red. No, it's yellow.
I think it's pink.
Pig, right?
And you just decide, see, I will just walk up to this guy, just tell him, but since it's not man enough, and then you just tell him, I say, so you have been feeling this way? Ah, Sister Prudence, sorry, like I have family, or there's somebody I'm actually courting and all of that. For some people, it's so discomforting as a lady. Like, I'm not supposed to be the one to ask this guy out. He should be able to see me, and then, so while others, others might see it as nothing, others will see that it's so discomforting to just be the one to make the move. So we found ourselves in situations like that. Like one of the terrible one is maybe school have resumed now, ASU have called off strike, and then some of the university system, they don't allow you to pick your roommates. Like once you just go apply for the room, when it comes out, you just see that you're taking space A, the other person, and you don't know the person from anywhere. Your first night, you start hearing music, and then you turn. But somebody is serious. You were thinking they are playing music, but behold, the person is snoring like hitting. I don't even know the names of the drums to use. So, like the person is now snoring. Like that situation can be uncomforting. Like maybe you have more instances and scenarios you've experienced.
Okay, so I had one in school, and that is, we were staying in the same room and another person came in to stay with us. to squat. And I have tiny bit allergies to perfumes, certain perfumes, and she sprayed one. Like, I really couldn't stay. I didn't know how to approach her and tell her that I have an issue with your perfume. And I didn't know whether let her, if she's entering our room or if she's staying in our room, she should reduce the spraying perf, or at least for the duration of the time she stayed in our room. But at that very moment where she was actually doing that, I was really uncomfortable. Then the next one is you Adam, that's personally. And then you just begin to go into my stuff and you take my things. You don't ask me, you just pick my things when I'm not even around sometimes. And it's really uncomfortable for me personally. I feel like if you do want to use my thing, you should actually ask me. Just tell me, Prudence, I want to use this before I leave, so that I know that when I come back and I don't see it, I know that it's with you, instead of me panicking. And that scenario, that situation actually is very uncomfortable.
I have this friend of mine, since secondary school, and he has a funny way of eating.
That's another one.
He has a funny way of eating. Some of these things that we find ourselves being uncomfortable around them, sometimes it goes with the training, how we're being brought up. Like me, for instance, when we were coming up, like growing up, if you mistakenly make a sound while eating, like the next thing, you will not know where the wipe will come, whether hand or cup or anything. You will just
receive.
You will just receive, like, gladly and freely. And you will tell yourself, I know the reason. So I grew up with that consciousness. So once I find people eating not in that manner, there's a way it pissed me off. So he eats funny, and then he make that funny sound,
like
when
he's
eating.
chewing gum.
Yes, and then there's a way he licks his hand, and then he takes water. He doesn't take water normal, like normal. You take water, you will like,
like I'm not comfortable right now.
you understand?
You feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, but you just have to bear with
And there's
such
another
situation.
one.
Yes, and when like we're in a room, and then an elderly person enters, and then there's no seat, and I'm sitting down, and even when I make attempt to stand up, they'll say no, just sit down. Even maybe the arrangement is based on protocol. That's the way I feel very uncomfortable. Like, this is an elderly person, I'm sitting down and then he's standing. I don't normally feel comfortable. Or I'm entering a bus, and then I see a pregnant woman struggling, or sitting in a particular seat that doesn't make her comfortable, and then me, I'm in a position whereby I'm comfortable. It normally makes me very, very uncomfortable.
And I feel the issue about being uncomfortable and all that is depending on your upbringing. If you were brought up to be cautious, if you're brought up to be careful around your environment, I think you'll find a lot of things uncomfortable. Because, for instance, this an older person standing while you're sitting, that's something that some of us have, it has been drummed into our brains since childhood. If you see an older person, give the person a seat and all that. So your upbringing actually affects what makes you uncomfortable. And I just remembered another incident I had. So I entered this cab. Was it a cab? No, a bus, if I remember correctly. And the man sitting close to me was sweaty. Oh my God. He was sweating so profusely. It was uncomfortable for me. Like, I could feel his sweat through my shirt. it was really uncomfortable, and I just couldn't wait. In fact, immediately they reached my bus stop, I just tapped the conductor, please let me just drop right now. Well, I didn't even wait to collect my change or anything. I just gave him, I didn't even know how much I gave. I just gave what I could give, and I left that place because I was really uncomfortable. And I feel like we all should actually be cautious when we are doing things around people, because you don't know exactly what will make your neighbor uncomfortable. It's just courtesy. You don't really have it doesn't take anything out of you to be cautious about yourself around people, because if you don't know what makes your brother or your sister uncomfortable, and it's terrible behavior to not care about your neighbor.
You know, like you said earlier on, like some of these things that make one uncomfortable, others see it as nothing. And like when I was talking about uncomfortability, like you seeing something that is outside the norm, you were brought up to eat in a very, let's say, polite way, or without chewing, making sound and all of that. And then all of a sudden you're seeing it's like outside the norm for you, that you have to sit and an older person is standing. It's outside the norm. But for some people, like, they don't care. I came here before you, so you have to stand. I will stand and they will share rice and it will not get to me. You get that feeling. So people will be like, you better stand, though. Like, I can't afford to give you that chair. But it's so important that people need to understand that some things are basic etiquette. Like you shouldn't be in a public place and be chewing gum and making sound. Like, imagine being in an office and then chewing and making sound. No, it's not proper. Like,
Joyce, sorry for cutting you. Sometimes it's not just only in a public place. You understand? No, it's true.
even your room.
No, like me and you now, I should know certain things that makes you uncomfortable, and I should be conscious of it. Because why? Because every day we meet in the office. So I should try my possible best to avoid. That means I am being considerate now. You know, as I think about things that make me comfortable, I'm still thinking about things that makes you uncomfortable, and I avoid them. Because like you said, like we said earlier, some of these things, they can just take someone off. Like, you will just go blank.
It makes you go
So imagine I just did something like 5 minutes or 2 minutes before you go on a show. You can imagine how that effect can be on you. So these are some of the things that, like, people don't, like you said, some don't even care. So not only in a public place, you know, your relationship one-on-one with your friend, at least you should be able to know certain things that you know that it pissed your friend up, and then you try your possible to adjust. Yes, you are not being like this is my friend that I'm talking about. We are still friends up to now. It's somebody that when there's any issue
And
about
he's watching
me,
you. This friendship will break today.
even though he didn't know that he's the one.
No, I feel like you will know. You know those kind of indirect speeches that you did not call people, but you're describing the person. So your friendship is at
you know, so the way you are eating, man, is something. Then you just laugh over it and say, you just have to bear with it. And I'll say, yes, I understand.
You know, it reminded me of a video, sorry to cut you, that I watched recently. The person went to buy ice cream and then it was so expensive. So when they gave him the ice cream with then a small spoon too, he said, with the money I paid, he removed the spoon. After he finished taking it to like a certain level. How can he leave the cup like that after paying a huge amount of money? And he dropped the spoon, he started using his hand. Like, he didn't care who was there. And then he used his hand and then he made sure he rubbed all the ice cream out of the cup and then to his mouth. He made sure he licked it. So things like that, for somebody to be like, what? Why is that guy doing that? Yes. Yeah, it's your money, but then.
But my story, the good part of it is that, you know, there are some that, you know, you are close, but you can't just like walk up to the person and say this. There are some situations. But if it's your friend, you know, you find a way, directly or indirectly. It got to a point that when we're about to eat, there's a way he will look at me and I'll look at him. Then he will start smiling. Already there's a complication. Or maybe he forgets and he start making that sound, and I'll just give one look like that. Or he will see me withdrawing, like I'm no longer eating. then it will be done on him. Then quickly he will see a kind of laugh, and then sometimes we're like, I think I should leave this food for you. Then I'll say, why not? Why not? Then we'll just laugh at them. That's just that part.
Sambo, Solomon, Prudence, Bruga, have you met people that lie? They would lie like their life depend on it. Like, I don't know how, maybe if you have had that experience and how you felt. Like, you are seeing it that this cup, the color is orange. The person would argue, would tell you that, no, you left this cup here, and then you came back, you saw it there, and you're asking, the person will tell you, no, it's you that forgot it was actually there. Like, you begin, there are people that lie, and the way they lie like their life depend on it. They lie to make you look stupid. They lie to make you look foolish. Like, you begin to ask yourself, sometimes I ask like, is it, I begin to wonder, did I go to school? Like, some logic.
It's sweeter when you say it in Hausa. Like, Kariana really. You get it?
Like, let me interpret it. The lie that you take advantage of your senses, right? So, like, I think you'll start interpreting
It's true. And I do think like this
like
issue,
you are a fool, you don't have sense, like you are from another world. You can imagine, you said something like their life depend on it. Actually, if you meet people like that, but their life actually depends on it. I'm telling you, because they lie for living.
and you know, some kind of lies, when they lie, you begin to think that your IQ is like very low.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like, does this guy think, as my mother would say, Kinganina Sapampas? Like, do I look like I'm wearing diapers? And it's just crazy. For instance, I actually met this person, and the person was telling us that she went to see a friend, and that the friend's house, when they reached the friend's house, it was like plain land, and then they pressed a button, and then the house came from underground. I took a pause.
A movie.
Excuse me. Like, I'm not in an action film, Mama, because I don't get this. In this very country, and that was like years ago. So, like, how exactly do you expect me to believe such an... Okay, you could just tell me that you went to the house and it was a mansion. I think I'll believe that kind of lie. But this, in the environment that we grew up in, it just sounds way over the top.
And you know, like I said, it can be so like, personally, I'll just keep, when I look at you, the way I can just become furious about the lie, I can just let you just keep quiet. And apart from it, there are people again that argue. Like, they argue, they won't stop. They are saying that this is what it is, but because the person has already given a foundation of lie, he wants to argue it till the end. He will even forget that someday he said this, or like, they will argue with you till you become frustrated and decide to tell them you have won. Congratulations. Remain part 2. So that, for me, can be so uncomfortable. Like, how can you be lying like that? How can you be arguing like that? With all your strength, your might, like there's a reward. It's not even debate, that you're arguing like that. Like, you're arguing on something that is not true.
You know, people like that, they want, you know, wherever they are, people should just listen to only them. You know, they project themselves like they know everything. At the end of it, explain it. Then you will start exposing yourself. The people that are listening will now understand that even if in the process you say things that are true, but at the end of it, you just mess everything with a lot of...
You said earlier, you know, that this, we started with this because, like, these are comes of your day, like things like that, but to make sound with chewing gum. Like, what about that person that eats everything? What about that person that is so loud, makes noise?
Lousy.
What about that person that, like, always that unhygienic? Like, these are things that, whether we like it or not, affect people that are around us. It makes them uncomfortable. Like, how do you deal with that situation?
Well, I think as a Christian, it is easier because our basics is the foundation is love. So when there is that true love, you know, it is easier for you to approach the person in love. or find a way. Some, they find it difficult, like me now, to just come directly to you. Maybe, yes, we're in the same office, but we are not that close. But I noticed that you're closer with Prudence. I'll be like, Prudence, this is your friend. Joyce. There's this eyelashes that she normally put. Yeah, she likes it, but it makes her look ugly. Is there a way that you like? But it's true. I'll find a way in our discussion. We'll talk. So that's love.
The person will go and look for a lot
Rubbish you and to make you feel somehow. And you know, people normally that are not, let me put it that way, they are not comfortable with certain people with no reason. You know, people can just be uncomfortable with people without a reason.
True.
Like they will just, I feel as Christians, you know, the Bible teaches us about tolerance. Yes, it is key. That's why God, you know, show us that example by tolerating all our flaws. And then he show us unconditional love. You know, it is very important once we notice this, you know, for the sake of this cordial relationship, you know, whether in where you work or church or at home, you know, just create that environment that people would know that, yes, this thing, and not just tell them. You know, there are some that you will just mention and the person will not really think deep how you think things should be done. I think that's another better way to put it because of yours. But when you say I doesn't like, you will make me to start thinking. You get the point. So people don't even understand even the communication skill to benefit even the person. You understand? So I feel these are ways that if we adopt, you know, tolerance is very key because you can't live a Christian life without tolerance. Once you remove tolerance out of your Christian life, I think there's a question mark.
Brilliant.
There's one way my mom does hers. She begins with, "Oh, you're looking good today. You're looking fine. You're beautiful. My daughter." She will praise you. And she will tell you, "But this your gown. I think you should change it. It's not looking, it's not balancing with your face this morning. It's not looking okay. It's not all right." And then you just feel, okay, so she has my interest at heart. Then you go back and change and come back. And then that's just one way you can approach this kind of thing. You would study your environment, and as he said, you are seasoned with love from your heart. So when you study the person, you know how to approach the person best. And talking about how he said, like, somebody just in a conversation saying, you with this your eyelashes is not there. Is that you watch what you say and you learn how to think before you speak, especially in public environments. Learn how to think before you speak. If not, you would really get on a lot of people's toes and it will really affect your social life around people like that. And you could also just quietly get the person aside. Like something happened this morning just before I came on set, and I was like, "Oh, so what I'm wearing, is it looking good? Is it okay? Could I go on set with this?" And she's like, "Oh, you're looking good. I like it, but come closer a little bit. Would you go and change this?" And I didn't find it offensive because of the way she approached it. She didn't just shout about it. Like she just called me aside and said, "Change this, put this way." And I feel like if you approach somebody like that, the person would probably think on it. But let's just be honest, sometimes people overreact. And you can't be blamed for the person's behavior at that point, because you've done your best in the best way you can do possible, but then the person is taking an offense from it regardless.
You know, things that makes us uncomfortable can be so annoying. Like they can be so annoying. Imagine somebody playing, like you all boarded a public transport and the person playing music that maybe does not even suit your own belief, and then putting it on 100, like the volume. And then imagine somebody, like we mentioned, eating, like the person can say to you, "So I will not eat because I'm inside." It's a public transport, you get. So things that we don't get comfortable, like attitudes like this can just make you so angry. But like Sambo Solomon said, you know, love is the ultimate. If we understand the fact that this world is not just for myself alone, I don't have the monopoly of this environment. I think it's going to guide us. It's going to guide our behaviors. And then even you as an individual that gets uncomfortable lightly, you can just look at the person and just say, with this your long eyelash that looks like masquerade, the person tomorrow will go and look for longer inches just to make you angry. If you tell the person is chewing gum like prostitute, like it might be it might be the way they actually chew, but because you liken the person to a prostitute, the person will say, I will show you that I'm not just an akuna, like I'm not just a prostitute, but then I can be more. And then the person will go and double the chewing gum. And then when you hear the sound, it will be like one beat that you can form song with it. So there are subtle ways that we could talk to people.
Give them Jeff.
Like you get.
Hear music coming out.
So you can tell the person, oh wow, the maybe the smell of that gum is nice, but can you just reduce this? Like, can you just stop? Or you can just find a subtle way of talking to people. You talk about the fact that, oh, you look good, but can you? Oh, do you know that you can eat this? But can you be patient? Maybe when you get to your destination, there are people that don't even know etiquette. All these basic etiquettes. They don't know.
Right.
Yes.
They are just brought up in a way, they found themselves in an environment where nobody talks about this, like it's not part of their curriculum in school, and then they don't care. So some people are doing it unknowingly. So you can do well to let the person know that it's not right for you to do this. Oh, this person has bad breath. Oh, you can tell the person, maybe your toothpaste, can you change your toothpaste? You feel this is better. Recommend. You can even buy it as gift for the person, and then ask the person the next day, did you try it? You get? So there are better ways to, and do you understand? Did you try it? And before you know the person, you have done something good. Sure. Instead of it to go and meet the next person and say, do you know this person has bad breath? You begin to insult the person. Some of these behaviors are really terrible, but we need to find a subtle way to actually talk to people, and I think they are going to definitely adhere to it.
Yeah. But you see, let me just add a little from the angle of people talking to you. You see, manner of approach really goes a long way, you know, in talking to people about certain things that are not comfortable, and then seasoning it with love. Like me, I know there are certain things that I do that I didn't really see them like something, and then I find people that cherish me, you know, people that have me at heart complaining about it. Now, you know, some of them are normal, but whenever I try to do that thing, their memories come straight to my mind, and I stop. Not that they're there, but I will stop. Like, or when mistakenly I do that, I'll be like, I didn't mean this person is here. There's a way the person will just look at me. Like my throat, I have issues that when I talk small time, you hear me doing trying to, you know, or try to take water or something. Then I do it often, like openly, like even in our, what do you call it, the presenters, whatever. I can just do it unconsciously, and there's this one person that will say, stop it, it's not good for you. It's not good for you. Just try. What's the problem? Is it something that you need to go to the hospital? This thing is still here. You understand? But since from then, there's a way I control it. Even the sound, there's a way I try to do, but not to bring out that really ugly, loud sound, you know, doing it. So it makes you to think about people that love you and try to help you with certain challenges. It is very key, it's very important. You have done your part. Now the person is not here, but I can say categorically this person have helped me positively to really adjust when it comes to that. So that's another joy that you will find, you know, when you adhere, you listen. Another thing, again, is for someone to identify some of these things and you to come with an open heart. To accept. So, in the other side, you need an open heart, you know, to accommodate, to take certain things.
All right, quickly, let's look at things that make us uncomfortable, yet at the end of the day is rewarding and even makes us better people. Like being uncomfortable is a normal and healthy part of life.
Yeah, sure.
Like it's something you cannot even avoid. Like there are instances that we'll be like scared of public speaking, like you're uncomfortable the moment they say, well, Sambo Solomon, you're going to be presenting a paper during the pastor's conference. I'd be like, hey, who am I?
Which
like,
pastor's conference?
You get. And as who? You begin to ask yourself now, as who?
I hope you are not giving me information. I just cited an
It might be a
example.
prophecy. Knowing well that we have pastor's conference coming soon. So you get public speaking, making decisions, like you are faced with those kind of situations and then like, I don't want to do it. Like, I like the fact that I'm just here. And then you're uncomfortable with the fact that I could do this thing, that you can do it and become great. You can do it and somebody will say, wow, well done. Like, but then, and then in an organization, maybe an instruction is being given, oh, we want you to anchor the show today. Like, no. I just want to sit down. And then you get, it makes you uncomfortable to talk in public. You feel uncomfortable to travel, try opportunities. You feel uncomfortable to relate with people. Like there are people that
Try
don't like
new
meeting new
things.
people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how, like, maybe you can give your own experience with not trying, like, because you feel uncomfortable with situations and you didn't.
I have one, and that is during my NYC service. I was supposed to meet someone who was going to help me with my PPA, and I was given the person's contact and everything. I was just supposed to go and meet the person. I don't like meeting new people, especially if I need a favor from you. It's like I just get very uncomfortable and very tensed and nervous. So this is how I was procrastinating. I'll go today, I'll go tomorrow, I'll go. But finally I was like, Prudence, just go. And then my dad called. They're like, have you gone to see him? I'm like, no, sir.
Parents.
Said, see him this evening.
Parents can connect you.
So I got up, I gathered my nerves and everything. I said, let me go and see this man. And I went to see him and there was nothing so big about it. It was just me just normal meeting somebody, and he was very jovial, he was cordial, he spoke to me with, there was no issue, and I got what I wanted to get from him. And I came back and I was wondering, so why exactly were you uncomfortable in the first place? This was a very simple thing you would have just gone and done, and I just wasted my time for no reason. I feel like I was wasting my time being nervous about things that I shouldn't have been, because I thought it was going to be uncomfortable for me or for the person I'm going to go and meet. Because sometimes that's a mistake we make when it involves conversation or involves meeting people, like you said, about somebody very uncomfortable about meeting new people. We tend to think for the person. And when you are thinking for the person, you yourself, you find yourself being uncomfortable at that time, because you are thinking, oh, the person is good. And mostly when you're thinking for the person, you think negative. So you will have issues with yourself, and then you begin to picture the person in a bad light before you even meet the person. And that's a very terrible habit, I feel.
Well, for me, I think based on my personality, and then, you know, earlier we established that some of these things, it starts with all your home bringing. You understand? I love sharing some of my experiences, even though when I share, some people find it very uncomfortable. But one thing that I know, we are made for somebody. Yes, your experience is what you go through, you know. And then, because when you share them, it's more like a testimony of what God has done, you know, concerning your life, and then how he has kept you. And then maybe what you went through, then somebody is going worse, and he's thinking maybe there's no way out. But sharing a little from maybe just a portion of it can just meet that person, and you never can tell. You are just designed to meet that person alone. And you know, I'm a reserved person. you know, since I lost my dad, I became just me. Yeah, everything is just me. And growing up is just like struggling, do what you feel. Nobody tells you that this is, even when they tell you, like my mom struggled with me, but I just condition my mind that this is what I want to do. Like anything I found, I would just do it. Like you don't have this proper, you just, when you just zero your mind that everything is gone, there's nothing again will come, you just eat. If you find, if time to die come, and then you are just, I'm telling you, I'm telling you, you know. But you know, going to secondary school, then after secondary school, that's when I started going to church. But when I go to the church, I'm always like always, even prayers. They say, Mr. Solomon, pray for us. I find it very, very difficult. Not until the time that in youth fellowship, you're like, okay, this time, by next week, this person is going to lead us in Bible study. Come and see study.
I can imagine. Day and
I can already
night.
picture it.
Day and night. And anytime I remember that day of the fellowship, my heart would skip. That day, you don't want to know what really happened that day. You know, like I was just going round, like my legs were just...
You cannot see, because once you see, they will notice something is, one dance step is taking place.
It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny, but I will never forget. From that time, then gradually I start losing up. And then people around, like, we notice you're good at this. Even though you are a shy person, you don't talk, you know, but when you make one or two, this, why can't you? Then one day, the issue of MC came. They invited the MC in the church program. The guy is not there. They said, we have a brother here now. Why just... Then I went to uncle. I finished. Then people were like, wow, my daughter is having same fault.
Wow, the career was built.
I'm telling you. Just from
You
this
know?
step.
Yes. So since from there, you know, I would just go and do my thing. And believe you me, when I do my MC and it's like I enter into character. When I finish and then I come back to my, and then people were like, okay, why not just go build yourself towards that area? And then before you know it, I enroll.
Today you're speaking to the world. That's the summary. Today you're speaking
I
to the world.
actually have a
You
similar...
know, they pushed me to even getting a certificate. You know, from somebody that didn't even make his own, what do you call it, WAEC. You know, from there they push. You know, and I give God the glory. So these are some of the things. You know, and when you come to the office now, they will say, okay, you're going to do this. We're going to put you on this program. You're going to put you, and then you'll be like, there was a time, you know, here, this particular set, that opening was just an issue. That day it was, I regretted my life that day. I was in a fix. Okay, there's a boss that believes in you, that gives you responsibility, that trusts you that you can do it. And there's a message you are to deliver out there to people watching. You are in the global stage, and that messed up came because you are just tense. They just say something and they just make you uncomfortable. And
Because I had to chip in.
Okay.
Like, I remembered one time that I just got a call that Joyce will be traveling to Abuja. Like, I'm supposed to speak in a church. That's coming from the boss. But then I have another engagement in Jos, and then you have to go to Abuja. And in my mind, I was like, I don't understand. You stay in Jos, and why, like, how did this man think that I can do this thing? Like, that was what was in my mind. Like, why did he think I can do it? I've never done that before. Like, yes, I'm in the band, we sing in church, you get, the bike can be facing one direction, you're not facing the people.
You can even close your eyes.
You get. And then you're going to Abuja, you're going to be speaking on my behalf. And I was now asking myself, why did he think I can do it? Like, I was so uncomfortable. I cannot even say, sir, I cannot do it. Oh, like, you get, but I was not comfortable about that. But yes, you have to go. I went there, and after that, like, I came back. I was applauded, and The same thing, one time I was asked to host a red carpet show, and I was like, I've not done this before. These are like, if it was a maybe children's show, for fair, it would have been better. Like, I can say anything, these children will not cool. But you're going, you know what, the caliber of people I'm talking about. And then I was just wondering, God, can I do this? Like, I'm not comfortable. Let them just leave me. Let me just be usher. Let me just be protocol. And then finish this program. Well, you have to anchor. And then, like, I did it. And today, like, I'm not just doing the red carpet host, but we are talking to the world. So there are situations that you can just get uncomfortable with. But if you give it that baby step, like, it will take you to a bigger place. You might be watching it right now, and then there are a lot of things that you're hoping to achieve. And then you're just so scared. You want to open a business, you want to start a business, but all you're thinking is just the risks. And then you just think, no, instead of me to invest this money in this, it's better I just not do it. You want to attempt maybe educating yourself on issues that are so important. They are going to open you to bigger opportunities, but you're scared. Like, you were supposed to travel to another location, and then you're scared. There's an instruction that maybe God is giving you, and then you're scared. Remember the case of Abraham, when God asked him to sacrifice his only son. Like, this is somebody he waited for. And then God gave him after how many years? And then God is saying, like, I need this son. Look at the situation as difficult. This one has passed on being uncomfortable. As difficult as it was, but he obeyed. And then at the end of the day, he wasn't just, God didn't just spare Isaac, but he blessed him. He made him like father of not just one, but father of all nations. And today we can even talk about him. I think there are some things that are very important. Maybe making decisions, meeting people, starting a job, going back to school. People have dropped out and they feel, I've outgrown it, I can't do it again. You're not comfortable going back. You think it's okay that you stay where you are. It might be a location that God is directing you to. We have seen it in the days of old, how you can just be sitting down, God will just speak to you and tell you that I'm taking you to a place where it's just him. To bless you. You get. So I think it is time that we move out of our comfort zone when it has to do with things that are going to help us become great. I don't mean you should just, okay, now develop the attitude of chewing gum in public. No. These are attitudes that are not just good. So there are things that you should be thinking of doing away with them. But there are certain things that I think you need to take that baby step, start working towards it, and I'm sure God will definitely bless you. Our time is fast spent, but before we go, like, Prudence have something to tell us. And
okay, yeah, so it was just, I just wanted to actually add on that. I have a similar experience with everybody who was, everyone here, and that is that I had terrible phobia for cameras. It was crazy. I had terrible phobia for cameras. Like, I couldn't stand before a camera. I remember the first time I came to have a pilot's show here in this very station about a year ago, so 2 years ago. Yes, and I stood in front of a camera. Oh my God!
Should I use them?
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
It was really crazy.
I thought you cover for her now.
It was really crazy, and I had to actually go through therapy to actually be here today. And I'm telling you, it was worthwhile. Like, yes, it was uncomfortable for me to actually go through therapy to even be going to go and see someone to explain how scared I am of cameras, how scared I am of closed environments and all those things. But it really helped me after I opened up to somebody. That's probably your own issue. You might just want to go and open up to somebody. Find somebody to open up to. Do not be scared of seeing a psychiatrist. Do not be scared of seeing a psychologist. Do not be scared. I'm still saying that do not be scared because this is out of experience. Like, it was really a tough time for me because at that time I had a lot of things I wanted to do and I couldn't do it because I was restricted by phobias and all those things. But now I'm here, aren't I, talking to all of you, and it's really a worthwhile experience for me. And I think it would help somebody out there also.
Sure. The reason why we say it the way we say it and then we laugh, we are not laughing just to mock, but we are laughing because
We have
there
outgrown
was
it.
a situation and we have overcome it. You understand? The same thing with you out there. You know, just put your mind. And the beauty of it is to surround yourself with people that can see your potential truly and then pull your hand. Even when you are dragging, you want to go back and they are pulling you up. And then we say a big thank you to our boss, Engineer Tony J. Nakali. You are really, really an influence to our life. Yes, some people don't find it comfortable, but
It's true. Get the point.
yeah,
That's true.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this with me. Like, it's been a pleasant journey. So thank you so much. Even though I'm not comfortable having Sam with Solomon here, like it would have been just me and Prudence. But well, I've overcome that. And to our viewers out there, thank you so much for doing this with us. Remember that being uncomfortable is healthy, is a normal part of life that you can't avoid. But let's always strive towards the positive part of being uncomfortable. If you know you're dealing with an attitude that is making other people uncomfortable out there, I think it's so important that you consider people and do away with such bad attitudes. And if there's something you are hoping to achieve but you're scared, you're trying to hold back, I think this is the time for you to give it a try. Trust God with it, and I tell you, he will sure put his hand in all you do. Until we come your way tomorrow, same time, keep a date with Equa Television. Bye-bye.